Hi guys, welcome back to the garden. It is now the end of May, and this year, instead of doing the garden tours at the beginning of the month, we're going to do it at the end of the month. So today's video will be a garden tour. Everything is planted out, and we are starting to harvest radishes, and I think the lettuce we can start harvesting as well. So the first few things are starting to come in finally. But let me show you what everything is looking like. We have all of our 9 beds filled, and I'm so excited for this. So let's start this tour. Okay, so I think we're gonna start in the back because those are the simplest beds to start with, because this is all garlic. It does have 2 varieties, and as it's growing, you can see this variety over here is shorter than this one. So you can tell the difference of where the different varieties are. We just had a few good rains, and after rain is a perfect time to harvest. And apparently somewhere over here there's a walnut tree that dropped a lot of walnuts, and I keep seeing these pop up throughout the beds. And after rain is the best time to weed. This bed is not so bad, so I can do it now quickly, but I'm gonna have to come out later and do a lot of weeding. What I also did the other day is that over here, right on the edge, I planted some green beans that are gonna go up the trellis. And I did it on the other side of this trellis as well. So the green beans will go up, and it'll meet on the top. So this is bed number 1. Bed number 2 also has a bunch of garlic, and it again has different varieties where you can see the beginning of the bed is shorter, and over here it's different. And I think there's even a third variety over here that finishes in another bed. This is not a very good weed. I don't know what this is, but it has to come out. Okay. This trellis over here on this side, I didn't plant anything, and you're going to see why when we get to the other side of this trellis. This bed over here has a ton, we're going to call it weeds, because anything that you don't want to have in a certain space is a weed. But all of these little green things over here are tomatoes. Now, last year we had over here 2 tomato plants with teeny tiny tomatoes that was super annoying to harvest. That towards the end of the season we decided we're not harvesting anything. And so it just all dropped on the ground, and now this is what we get for it. So we're gonna have to come through, and this is gonna take a lot of work. I have another bed that's really bad, and that's also gonna take a lot of work. But let me show you what we have in this bed other than all these weeds. So we got some peppers over here, 3 peppers, and I believe they are orange peppers, yes. Then over here we got a celery. We got some more peppers, and I believe these are red peppers, and we already have some peppers growing over here, which is super exciting. All of these are red. We absolutely love red peppers, and I would probably, even the ones that we don't eat, I would probably cut them into strips and freeze it and use it in anything that I want to cook during the winter. It won't be good fresh, but I can cook it and it'll still be delicious. Then we got 3 more celery, and these are some yellow peppers. Down the center of the bed we have onions. So I have red onions, a variety of white onions, and then at the end we have scallions. And these have been here for quite a while already, but I know it's taking a while to just start going, but we're gonna see what it does. We're gonna give it its time and see what happens. Over here in this corner, I came out yesterday and I planted some chive seeds. So we're waiting for that to come up. Over here we have a tomato. Okay, so I started tomatoes indoors, but I started them very late. And I can show you, I still have them here in the garden. I can show you what they're looking like. So I didn't want to wait for those to grow to full size before I can transplant it. And it just wasn't doing very good. It just wasn't growing at the pace that I would have wanted. So I went to the garden center and I bought tomatoes. So the tomatoes that we have in the garden are nothing that I actually started. So this variety over here, I actually lost the label, but I remember in the store that I picked 3 different types of slicing tomatoes. So this is a red slicing tomato. I did put a butternut squash in the center over here, and I alternated parsley and something else that you can see the line over there that I planted. I think parsley. Was it cilantro? Maybe cilantro. Yeah, maybe cilantro I did over here. And we're going to have the butternut squash coming out into the walkway. So I alternated butternut squash, spaghetti squash, butternut squash, spaghetti squash, butternut squash. So we're going to have 3 butternut squash plants, 2 spaghetti squash plants. Between all of the tomatoes, and all of those squashes are going to come out into the walkway. And like I said, the cilantro also I placed in between the whole thing over here. These 2 tomatoes are going to be a yellow slicing tomato. And no, it's this lemon boy. And it sounded very interesting, and my husband was excited to try this. It's mild flavored lemon yellow fruit. Something interesting to try. We'll see how it goes. And then 2 more tomatoes. And this is the Beef Master. And then again I did chives at the end over here. And like I said, I'm gonna have to come out and weed all this. Okay, this bed also has quite a bit of weeds, but it's not growing as densely. Over here I did put in broccoli, kale, and cabbage, and they're so teeny tiny that I was starting to think like that nothing will happen with it. So I'm gonna give it a few weeks, and if nothing comes of it, then I am going to plant some beans over here. I have a bunch of beans that I can plant. That's fine. But I do have over here 4, and I think these are cabbage. Yeah, the cabbages are doing pretty good. So we just have to weed this and cover it with our mesh fabric that this will be covered with. Now we are going to our trellis. This trellis, on the other side, I said that we didn't plant anything. The reason for that is because I planted a loofah plant right here. And last year our loofah was massive. I had done 2 loofahs and it just was way too much on the trellis. Like, it was so hard to walk through over here, and it was just taking over. So I figured I'm gonna try doing 1 this year and we'll see how it does. If it produces enough loofah for us, then it's great. If it's not enough, the next year maybe I'll do 2 trellises with loofahs, and we'll see how it fills it up. Okay, along the edge over here, I had planted carrot seeds a long time ago, and I gave up on it. It didn't seem like anything was going to come of it. But we had probably 4 days of a lot of rain over the last few days, and they are coming up now. So I think we are going to have carrots. And maybe not as many as I would have wanted, because I don't know how many are going to come up, but we have a lot over here coming up. Over here, we're going to grow some lettuce. You can see lettuce on the other side, but I'm alternating. I'm starting them every 2 weeks, so that way we have a constant supply, a constant harvest of lettuce. So I planted lettuce in a different spot now, so next time I'm going to come out and plant over here. The middle, we have some peppers, and I think these are cayenne. Yeah, these are cayenne peppers with stakes on it. And like I said, we got lettuce, a few different types of lettuce, and we have carrots on the other side, which not that many are coming up. So we'll see what happens with those. Over here, I planted some dill from seed, and looks like this is the dill coming up. And then these 3 peppers over here, these are jalapeno peppers. I did direct sow some oregano over here. I just sprinkled oregano on the edge over here. So we'll see what happens with those, if they come up and how they grow. And then these over here are cucumbers. So I was talking to my manicurist last year. I shared with her some of the vegetables that was growing in the garden. And she kept on telling me about the cucumbers that she grows that are seedless. And she showed up at my house one day when I was here in the garden, and she handed me all of these seedlings. She also gave me some peppers. I'll show you where I planted those. But so these are cucumbers from her, seedless cucumbers. I don't know the exact variety, but my family is very excited to try these seedless cucumbers. Next up over here, we got cherry tomatoes. They're gonna go up on the trellis all the way up. Over here we got a pepper. I don't remember which pepper. It's a spicy pepper. Ghost pepper maybe? Over here we got dahlias all along the edge with the stakes on them. This is an eggplant. It's a smaller eggplant. Over here we got one of these asters. So flowers down the center over here with the dahlias. Over here I ran out of dahlias, so I planted some parsley over here. And we got 2 more of it's the diamond eggplant, so I believe it's smaller eggplants. On this edge we planted some green beans again. It's a different variety. We planted 2 different varieties, one on this side, one on the other side. We're going to see which one we like better. And when we come around to the second side, over here we started some, oh, this is the beans, cosmos, and they're coming up. So we're gonna have a bunch of cosmos over here. Over here we got some more peppers. These are snacking peppers, so small red snacking peppers. And then we got some more cosmos over here. I got some mint, which I'm probably gonna leave in a pot, but you can see over here my husband cleared out a bunch of the weeds. He started putting some wood chips at the end over there. But I'm gonna plant a bunch of perennials over here. But I'm not sure that I want to do the mint over here. So I have to decide about that. But let's move over to the next bed. And over here we got some more cherry tomatoes. I still got to do a cleanup here. I tried being very clean when I was working out here, always bringing my stuff in. But this I found in my garden shed the other day, and I thought that I have the whole watering can, but I'm missing the part that this attaches to, so probably that's why it's still here. And over here, my onions, I don't know, I don't know. Like the color looks off, but we're gonna have to see. I'm not pulling it. We're gonna wait and see what happens with it. So we have onions over here. I believe we're gonna plant, just like the lettuce, every couple weeks we're gonna plant some more radishes in between over here, the onions, and those are tomatoes. These are all going to be Roma tomatoes. So these will be tomatoes that we're going to make into canned tomatoes, crushed tomatoes, maybe some ketchup. Any tomato products that I would want to make are going to end up being mostly made with these Roma tomatoes. Over here, we transplanted some eucalyptus. Now, I don't think that I should have planted so many in one pot, but we're gonna see what happens, because if they overwinter, then they're a very big root system, taproot system, and it's gonna take over this pot in no time. So we're gonna have to see if this overwinters, and if it overwinters, then I'm gonna have to divide this up, and I could probably put it into the border landscape over here. Next up over here in the pots I have, these are the tomatoes that my manicurist gave me. And she was saying that it's a sweet tomato, a sweet pepper. Did I say tomato? It's peppers. Sweet peppers. And I have no clue what variety it is, what size it's supposed to grow to. But I've got 4 of them, and I have to move them around to where I want them to be. This is some chamomile. I would love to make some chamomile tea with it. This is rosemary, which I had in my bed last year. It was in the bed over there in the far corner. But throughout the winter, the chickens kept pecking at it, so nothing of it survived. So I have it in a pot. It's probably going to end up in the border as well. But, yeah, when I got this was overgrown with weeds, and I didn't want to put it in here yet. So we didn't do anything with it. I mean, so that's why I put it into a pot. But I'm probably going to end up transplanting it into the landscape. These are my tomatoes, which are finally growing a little bit. But like when I was ready to transplant my tomatoes, they only had the one set of leaves, like the seed leaves. And they were starting to grow the real leaves. So it was really very young and very immature, and it was not ready to be planted out at all. So we're going to have to get rid of these. Okay, and over here we also got a ton of weeds. Look at this. We have onions, but all of these weeds. Okay, so when we move over to this side, we have 2 more onions. I was going to have onions the entire thing, but I didn't. Not all of them germinated. So I think I did plant something over here. I direct sowed. Let me see. Yeah, poppies. And then over here, I planted some radishes. You can see it coming up. And then we got some more seeds, cosmos over here. So we have the cosmos and the poppies on that end, with radishes going down between here and the tomatoes. And on this side, yeah, like I said, we have the tomatoes also. So we have tomatoes on this side, tomatoes on that side, and they're going to also grow up on top of the trellis. So on that side of the trellis, we have the seedless cucumbers, and over here I planted the cucumbers that I did last year. And I did this yesterday or 2 days ago. So we're waiting for it to come up. This is sage that overwintered, and it's coming back up. And I have to transplant these. So I'm going to have to pull them out. I did plant over here a row of zinnias. I think I just did 3 of them. So They grow. We're going to have some zinnias, but not too many. Over here on the edge, we got some basil, and they're bitty baby basil plants, so you can't really see it yet. And I also planted some lettuce, which didn't come up yet. And then this was going to be all paprika peppers, but I couldn't find a variety that grows well in my area. So I just gave up my research, and I was like, we'll figure out what we're going to put in there. So for now, I've put in some extra peppers that I had, and I'm not even sure which color pepper. I'm assuming red. Yes, these are red peppers. Over here, I had put in another one, but it's really not doing good. This is a ghost pepper, but I don't think anything will come of it. We got some snapdragon and some more Roma tomatoes and some more celery. And over here we got another pepper. Which pepper is this? Habanero peppers. So we got 3 habanero peppers, and these plants are looking amazing. And every single bed has weeds. Over here we had started a zucchini, but it didn't come up. So we're gonna have to try again. And over here we got some more carrots down the entire edge, and they're finally coming up. For our final bed over here, we got garlic going down on this side. This is our last variety. Down the center, we have snapdragons the entire length of the bed, except for over there where we have radishes. Over here I left an empty space for another squash plant because I'm trying to do them every couple weeks. And this is a grass weed. Can come out. Over here we got eggplant, and this is a black beauty eggplant. We got 3 of them, and we got 2 more on that end. All this green over here, that's creating the square, are different types of radishes. Over here we started some watermelon, and they're coming up. Very excited for that. And like I said, this is more eggplant, and this here is our first zucchini that came up. So as you can see, everything is planted out. All the beds are full, but we're not quite ready to do any harvesting. But as you can see, we got some radish. Wow, this is a big one. We already harvested some. You can see one over here that we pulled out. We pulled out another one already, maybe from the other side. And the lettuce, we can probably start taking like the outer leaves right here. So what's left for us to do over here is, like I said, I need to come out and weed everything. I have to come out and fertilize everything. It's been over 2 weeks since I last fertilized, and now that everything is planted out, I can do all of them at once. And we have to clean up the walkways, because like you can see over here, this is just full of sand and a bunch of weeds growing, but it should be just the landscape fabric like over here. So my husband told me not to show this without moving the pots, but over here he started cleaning up, and you can see the beautiful clean walkway, and this is how this should be looking like. But unfortunately, this is full of soil all the way down. Over here, all the weeds. So we gotta do a big cleanup still. But now that everything is planted out, this is what we gotta do next, is clean all of this up. So if you want to see how this garden grows, what it produces, and how we use all of this produce, consider subscribing, and I hope to see you in the next one.